Watch Transit TV right now.
Mi harmono ultimo comentario 1. Keep watching Transit TV and stay more for premium content. Otra vez, adios.
What did Arsenal? How did they get it wrong in this one?
Okay, I think Arsenal got it wrong, first of all, from the team selection. You know, it wasn't necessarily Mikel Arteta's fault because, you know, Saka out injured.
Transit TV, welcome back again. Welcome back to the studio. You know, the past week and half international break, we usually take some time off to recalibrate and fix one or two things in the studio. This time around, I took you to come down to Florida. Beautiful weather out here, having some business over here, and it's a non-stop thing. We can't stop bringing you guys what you like to see on this channel. Today I have Choma and Kay in the house, who might be joining us later to look at a few key games on the EPL this weekend and give you some beyond the scoreline talking points, things that you as a fan probably did not pay attention to when you're watching the games because of emotion. Yeah, so I have Choma and Kay in the studios. Choma, you are welcome to the show.
Thank you, Reggie. I'm so excited to be part of the show today. Hello, Mr. K. Good to see you again.
Choma.
Yeah, Choma, looking take away today, and I'm wondering who was this lucky guy that took you on this date. He's doing a good job. He's doing a good job. Okay, my brother, good to see you again. Welcome back to the show.
Hi, good to see you, Reggie. Yeah, Choma, hi to you also. The club football is back, and finally we can talk about our favorite teams. You know, the past few weeks it was all about international football. We enjoyed that one, and it's time for us to enjoy the club football once more.
Yeah, for Nigeria, the national break was interesting, and midway became very messy with the nonsense that happened at Libya. Libya tried to get one over Nigeria by being a little bit tricky, and it backfired on them. I hear CAF has asked everybody to submit their report. We are hoping that they will take a very good decision this time. I hear Libya is asking for forgiveness, but we'll see when the official report comes out and what happens on that one. And for you, members on this community, congratulations to everybody. During the international break, we got approved and accredited by CAF to be. We are now an official CAF accredited news channel to cover CAF games, qualifiers, and Nations Cup. So we're looking forward to bringing you live feed from the next AFCON in Morocco next year. So Transit TV, with your help and with your support, we are going places. So stick around, invite your friends, invite your relatives, even your enemies alike. Tell them good things are happening in this channel, and so that they can come and enjoy with you. So yeah, that's the news we got this international break, and we are so glad to share this news with our viewers. So let's start with Arsenal. Bournemouth 2, Arsenal 0. Nobody wrote this one, though. If you are concerned with new history, recent history between these two teams, as the Bournemouth have decided to be a team that starts a chain of bad results for Arsenal in the last 3 seasons. 3 seasons ago, you remember, many put Arsenal not winning the league to the game they drew against Bournemouth last season or 2 seasons ago. You remember Bournemouth went up 3-0 and Arsenal managed to come back 3-3 by the last minute and made Arsenal to draw the next 2-3 games. And a lot of people feel that those patch of games was what made them not win the league that season. So again, today, Arsenal has been unbeaten in the league, and they got their first loss of the season to Bournemouth. Okay, let me ask you, in that game, is it credit to Bournemouth? What did they do that other teams have not done to get this result against Arsenal?
Okay, I think, Bournemouth didn't necessarily do anything different from the way they've been playing this season. But one thing we can take out of the game is that Bournemouth, it was basically their evening. It was basically their evening because they've been playing pretty well since the since Anthony Iraola took over at Bournemouth. So they've been playing beautiful football. This season they lost Dominic Solanke to Tottenham Hotspur, and Evan Nielsen coming in from the Brazilian league with the whole price tag and everything has struggled a little bit, but he's beginning to find his foot. So it wasn't necessarily about Bournemouth doing something extra, something that no one else has done. I think it was Arsenal undoing themselves because before Bournemouth got the goal, Arsenal were not necessarily in control of the game because the game was more like
we'll come to Arsenal. I have a question for you about them as well because if you want to go go ahead.
Yeah, I was just basically saying Bournemouth didn't really do anything, extra. It was just the basic Bournemouth. It was the normal Bournemouth, but it wasn't Arsenal's day, and Arsenal felt the absence of some of their key players. I think that was just.
Okay, yes. Yeah, so, okay, before I come back to you, Choma, as an Arsenal fan, where did Arsenal get it wrong in this team? What do you think is the reason why this result went this way? They didn't get a result that fans were expecting them to get, especially against a team who are struggling, who are almost confirmed to be struggling for relegation this season, considering their performance so far.
Okay, as an Arsenal fan, of course, I wasn't pissed. I wasn't pissed. To borrow Mr. K's word, he said we undid ourselves. So I watched the game with my friend. I literally sat in front of the TV like this. And Saliba's tackle or whatever that was that he did, that was so unlike Saliba. It's something Gavi should be doing, because Saliba is known to be sleek and technical and thinks on the ball. I'm not saying Gavi doesn't do all these things, but immediately Saliba got a red. I looked at my friend and said, you know what? Let's kiss this game goodbye. In fact, an Arsenal fan told me, don't bother watching this game. It's short 3 points. I looked at him, I said, it's like, you don't understand what football is about. These are the kind of games people go to watch because these are games that can determine what happens at the end of the season. So Arsenal, I can tell you, undid themselves. And I don't want to get into conversations about, red card stick or whatever. No. I don't want to talk about or anything. I just think we just went off. We dialed off. Yeah. I looked at that game. It was very.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I have my own views, but let me hear you, Kay. So what that did a little bit into it. What did Arsenal? How did they get it wrong in this one?
Okay, I think Arsenal got it wrong first of all from the team selection. It wasn't necessarily Mikel Arteta's fault because Saka out injured. What's his name? We all know that the captain of the side, Martin Odegaard, is still out injured, and he's taking a longer time to return from his injury layoff. But I think the one Arsenal felt the most was the absence of Bukayo Saka, and we've talked about how Bukayo Saka has been overworked. Even in his consistency, we could all see that the boy is being worn out, and I think he has gotten to that point where he has to take some time off the pitch. And I'm worried for Saka because Arsenal might, look at their next games and say, okay, we're playing Liverpool next, and we need to make a statement, and they hurry him back. I'm worried for him for the long term because eventually it will backfire. But in the game generally, you would see that Saka was greatly missed. Raheem Sterling came in to take his place. Sterling, he did his beats, but felt like an old-fashioned Sterling. You get so. Football has actually evolved a lot, and Sterling seemed not to be in the group for the modern day football. But generally, it was in the midfield where Arsenal were lacking. It wasn't even about the attack. It was in the midfield. The partnership of Pate, Merino, and who was the third person that was playing in the midfield? Help me, please.
Right.
Yeah, Declan Rice. It seemed like,
It didn't gel.
at the point, it looked like, playing three defensive midfielders all in the midfield, and then you wonder who will be carrying the ball, who will be creating the chances, and you will see that's a little bit rigid. You get so, but basically it was all about the selections. I think it was the selection, and it was the midfield. It was the midfield that undid Arsenal, because that the partnership of those three midfielders didn't really allow Arsenal hold the possession they would usually enjoy and control the tempo of the game. So, and it allowed Bournemouth to come into the game, and we all know how good Bournemouth are at the Vitality Stadium. We saw the week they played Chelsea, they almost won the game. They even missed a penalty in that game. So, I mean, it wasn't necessarily a surprise that Arsenal would struggle on a day when they didn't have their usual midfield trio. So, and then, Leandro Trossard, we've talked about him being a super sub and all of that. And we've seen most of the times when he starts games, he struggles. So I think it was the team selection that did Arsenal.
Yeah, for me, I agree with you guys. But like you mentioned, team selection there, for me, that was key, especially in the midfield. I mean, you're playing against Bournemouth. I don't know if I would say that Arteta over-respected them, or he didn't get his tactics right, because when you have Declan Rice, like you mentioned, Mikel Merino and Partey, that's a defensive midfield right there. I mean, when things got bad, your back was on the wall, you called on Nwaneri. And from what I've seen from that young man, you can actually throw him in the mix. So if you could expect him to do something when it was all that, but why couldn't he start the game? Why couldn't you drop Merino for Nwaneri and bring in some creativity into that midfield? And like you said, give Arsenal some ability to be able to have possession and trot forward. So, and again, the other mistake I thought I made was when he took out Raheem Sterling, because after Raheem Sterling went out, you were 10 man down, he took Raheem out. He literally had 9 defenders on the pitch. I mean, of all my praises for Arteta, this is not a champion's mentality. Manchester City, even if they play their match in heaven, cannot go one man down and go defensive against Bournemouth. Instead, they will lose the game, which Arsenal eventually lost. So what were you trying to do? So I think Arteta now has this mentality of once there's a red card, you reset to that defensive mode, regardless of who you are playing against, and which I think is not, for me, a good approach to games. If he's against City, if he's against Liverpool, I can respect it. But against Bournemouth, regardless, Bournemouth we know is a good football playing side. They hold possession, they try to play football. I understand it, but they cannot be better than Arsenal in that. So going defensive, playing 9 defenders against Bournemouth because you have a red card, for me, I think that was a very wrong approach. And because when Saliba got that red card, they hadn't considered the goal. So it wasn't, for me, there was no reason to do that. I think that was very, very crucial to the way that game went, because Arsenal surrendered all the position to Bournemouth. And this is a team that was already on you. That was already brave, already had courage. So you get them more impetus to come at you. And they have the weapons. What did they call that guy? Samuel or whatever, the guy on the left side had Ben White for a toast all game, because Ben White just came back from injury. And during the week, I remember I watched Ben White talking to Ben Foster, talking about how Bukayo Saka does a lot of defensive work for him. So having Raheem Sterling in front of him there was a defensive deficiency coming from the front. So it was a big struggle for Ben White to cope with. And everything just went back from there. So I agree with you guys. For me, Arteta takes the blame, because first of all, he's the one that do the team lineup. Secondly, he's the one that dictates the way the team is going to play. And that mentality affected those players. They didn't have the confidence to go forward, and it became a problem. There was no sign that Arsenal was going to score any goal after that red card. There was no sign. Arsenal never really had anything going forward. So kudos to Bournemouth. And like you mentioned, Gary O'Neill has this guy missing off. Anthony Iraola. Yeah, since he came in, has tried to use make Bournemouth play football. And they've always done like that. You remember when, what's his name? The Newcastle coach was there, Eddie Howe. That's how Bournemouth they've always tried to play football. You know, so I think that probably panicked a lot in this one and affected the outcome of that game. I haven't mentioned one area there. What did you make of the cameo?
Ethan Waneri?
Yes.
Oh, okay. You know, I wouldn't say I'm so much of a big fan of his, but the boy has been decent, you know, with the few minutes he has played so far. In a few minutes he has played in the Premier League as well. So I think he's a project that is worth watching. Yeah, I'm actually watching out for the boy. But somehow I think this is the time Arsenal Arteta gives him the chance, because in the absence of Martin Odegaard, in the absence of Bukayo Saka, and you're not giving him a chance, I really doubt when next you're going to give him the chance.
Exactly. So
I think this is the time Arteta gives him the chance. It's a project that is worth trying. So. But the camera he's had, he's actually been very decent. I wouldn't put it anything above decent. He's been decent. So we can actually see more than decency if he gets more playing time. But for now, he's only played a few games and, you know, a few minutes. So we leave it at decent. I think he's good.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you. Another thing I wanted to find out is, I don't know what you think. Martinelli's miss as well. Martinelli is a player that has been been a big topic for Arsenal in a while now. He's not only been doing very well. Then, you know, he came the last few weeks and got two goals. People thought that he was going to kick on from that. He had a chance, and it was after he missed that chance that Bournemouth went ahead to score on the other end.
Yeah. And
of course, if he had taken that chance, I'm sure the outcome of this game would have been different. I don't know, what have you made of it? Yeah. Do you think that miss was a huge one? And well, you know, how do you rate Martinelli with regards to taking some of these chances and how he impacts games? Is it time for Arsenal to probably give people like Jesus or Raheem Sterling a run of game to see if they can produce a different impact on games?
Okay, you know, Raheem Sterling, if I'm being correct, not Raheem Sterling, Martinelli, Gabriel Martinelli. Martinelli has actually struggled with his form for a while now, you know, and it's been a few months. It's not a thing of weeks or days. He's been struggling for months since last season. He's been struggling, and you know, I think in the last game before the international break, he got 2 goals or thereabout, and you know, we all thought, okay, maybe he's finally turning it around. But with that miss yesterday, I think it was the best chance Arsenal got the entire game, and it fell to him. One would expect a full international like him to convert that chance, you know, and give us now the momentum to go ahead and win this game. Because if you look at the scoreboard, you see that you're one man down, and it is still goalless. And then if you go a goal up, at least you know that, okay, if you are defending, you know you're defending something. You're defending to get a win. And then, you know, opportunities doesn't come too often when you're one man down. So the opportunity came, and it came from a goalkeeping error. Kepa Arrizabalaga, he gave the ball away to Arsenal. You know, one thing led to another thing, and the ball fell to Martinelli. And you know, one would expect him to convert. You know, knowing fully well how experienced he's been, how many years he spent at Arsenal and all of that. But be it as it may, he missed the opportunity, and not long after that, Bournemouth went ahead to score. I think Martinelli will definitely be beating himself up because he knows that he could have actually made the game look different.
Yeah, I believe so too. I think Martinelli needs to step up, and it's high time Arteta gave somebody else a run of games in that position, because I know there's something that he has that other players don't have, which is the pace. Sorry?
I said maybe Sterling should be pushing him.
Yeah, but the thing, though I know he has the pace, Arsenal uses him as a channel to get in behind in defenses, but it doesn't make any sense if you keep doing that and you don't take the chances. I think Jesus is there, and I think, like you mentioned, is there. I thought I might have to rethink that one and find a way to give other people a chance, because the margins, like Tata always says, are very tiny. Any chance you have to find a way to make the most out of it. Chom, I don't know, what did you make of Martinelli's miss, and do you think he had an impact in the outcome of that game?
I mean, he hasn't been Martinelli for a while anyway. I would want to be quite safe and say it's from the bouts of injuries and all of that. You know, think how many seasons ago he had those kind of injuries where he was coming back and going, and then 2 seasons ago he came back really hot and hard, but now he's back at that place where he isn't himself. So I don't think there's so much to say about Martinelli at the moment. I respect him as a player, but the miss, no. And that's the thing. Like, I know they are not the same. Well, what am I even saying? Yes, they are. They also play the same position. Trossard, almost. Trossard is one player that, let's talk about being a super sub. He cannot miss things like that.
Yeah, he's a clinical. He's the most clinical player in Arsenal. Of course, everybody knows that. Yeah, so I think I might have to rethink it, honestly.
He will bury it. He would have buried that stuff, but it's in the past, so spilt milk.
Yeah, Arsenal fans out there, I know this one is a hard one to take. You can see Choma can hardly speak because the unbeaten run is ended. That's now for the large part of 2024, since January 1st. They have not lost a game away from home in the league. It was a very healthy run going on, and eventually it has ended. Of course, these runs come to an end at some point, regardless of how strong you are. This is over 30 games or whatever, unbeaten away from home in the league. So yeah, but eventually came to an end. So Arsenal fans out there, let us know what you think, or even rival fans, what do you think about this loss and what's going to be the impact of this loss for Arsenal to the title race? Of course, it's really poised, and the margins, like Ateta says, and I always repeat, are very, 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 very marginal. You cannot fall short in any way, because the way Liverpool and Man City are playing, you don't want to lose games like this. So let us know what you think in the comment section. Like I said, don't forget to like and share the video, and we'll see you.